All right. So before we kick off with the last bit of the introduction to emotions, let's quickly recap what we know, because today's class is quite small. We're only looking at intuition a little bit, as well as rational versus irrational emotion. So let's kick off with what do we know. So let's start with Jackie. Jackie, can you discuss one of the theories of what an emotion is and how it happens?
Can I just take your slideshow back to one of them?
Sure.
No, I'm joking. So there's the debate. I'm not going to do a good job, I think, of describing any of them, but there's a debate between body and brain. And so one of the theories is that the brain recognizes a stimulus and then tells the body how to react. And that is interpreted as emotion. The other one, the body reacts and then the brain interprets that as an emotion. And then there's one that says it does it both at the same time.
Okay, perfect. Shakir, what three things need to happen for there to be an emotion? An emotion is subdivided into three categories, and what are they?
Yo, I can't remember a thing.
Okay. Could you tell me what an emotion is?
Yeah, it's a state of being.
Okay. And what is a mood?
A mood.
Mm-hmm.
A mood is also a state that a person can be in, a good mood, a happy, a bad mood.
Okay, so the difference must be, so how would I tell the difference between an emotion and a mood?
Okay, yeah, you got me.
Tough questions, right? Pedro, do you want to take a shot at it, even though you were cooking most of your on this?
I think an emotion is a reaction to something, and a mood is a type of emotion.
Could you explain that? Could you give me an example of it?
So you can feel emotional about something. So if you react to something, you can feel emotional about it. And the type of emotion that you're feeling can be happiness or sadness or anger.
So an emotion has three parts. There's a stimulus, there's a perception, and there's a physiological response. Right? Stimulus, perception, physiological response. So those three we need to keep in mind. It's very important that we understand them because each of those can be investigated within the social work spectrum, especially when you're entering into a counseling for social work or you're trying to deal with emotions. You can split them, right? You can usually work out and change the emotion. A mood is defined as an emotion that carries over a period of time, an extended period of time. Okay, so your moods wouldn't happen second by second or minute by minute. An emotion happens initially, right? So an extended mood, extended emotion results in a mood. Okay, perfect. Then we did some emotions, we did the three theories. Shakir, can you explain any other theory? Can you remember any other theory? Apart from the one that Jackie discussed. Okay. No problem. Jackie, would you like to discuss with us the role of beliefs in an emotion?
Well, depending on what you believe, it will affect your emotion. So if you believe something to be true, but it's not true, you can still have an emotional reaction to something, even though it might not be factually correct.
All right. And does the emotion influence the belief?
Yeah, I think it can. I think it happens both ways. So it
So
reinforces it, I think.
the relationship between an emotion and beliefs go two ways. An emotion can influence a belief, and a belief can influence an emotion. Right. So if you have a perception of something, a belief that something is like this, right, your emotions will react accordingly. And it also feeds back in a loop and says, because I feel this, I now believe that. Okay.
The snake in the
Perfect.
rope.
Pedro, can you? Snake in the rope. There we are. Welcome back. Yes. All right. So Shakir, what is a rational emotion?
Something that makes sense. You actually, it's right about being emotional about it.
Okay, and who
Uh,
decides? Like, how would you measure it to make sense?
for example, if it's a fire and it's huge and you have the right to be scared about it.
Okay. And what would be what would an irrational emotion be?
The fire is very far from you. It's not even, you can't even smell the smoke, but you are now fearing it to come close, or I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay. Pedro, would you like to discuss with us the difference between irrational and irrational emotion?
I would say, as an example, let's say if like, okay, so let's say anger, for example, can be rational or can be irrational. So anger would be rational in the circumstance where it is appropriate for the circumstance. To be irrational if you're angry for, let's say, someone's birthday party or something like that. Just an example.
Okay. Is it ever possible to feel nothing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is it ever possible to think nothing?
No.
Apparently, men can think nothing. They have a nothing box. I've heard about this. It's completely foreign to me.
Yes, this is very true. Very, very, very true.
Is it true for men?
Shakir? Well, it's true for me. I have a little nothing box that makes complete sense.
Where you feel nothing, where you think nothing. Like there's nothing happening in your head.
There
And you're not on
is,
drugs.
No, but drugs
look,
do
you
help.
can't stop imagining, you can't stop thinking, all right? But I don't think the thought can affect you. That's like think nothing.
Okay, I like it. Pedro, would you like to elaborate on the nothing box?
No, I think you can't not think nothing.
Okay, but that's because you're an anxious person.
Thank you for that, Nicholas.
Thanks.
Okay, right. So it is possible. Now, theoretically, you can never not be thinking and you can never not be feeling unless you remove all stimulus, right? Which is not possible, right? That's why we have deprivation chambers and things like that, where you can remove most of the stimulus, right? And therefore remove the thinking and the emotion, right? However, research will show that even when you remove all external stimulus, there'll be an internal stimulus that a person seeks and engages with in order to create the feeling or create the thought. That's just like a fun side to it. So we're looking today at rational versus irrational emotion as a starting point, right? And a very good definition of it is by Aristotle, right? And he said that anyone can be angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, in the right way, is not that easy, right? So, I mean, of course, he was the father of the school of rationalism, right? So a rational emotion matches the intended audience. It happens at the correct time for a purpose in the right way, right? So it causes no harm. It meets a purpose of expression. It happens at the right time, and it is to the right degree, right? The degree matches what the common person would be feeling, right? The reasonable person would be feeling, right? An emotion that is sensitive to the real nature of a situation is more rational than one that is not. There's a more psychological definition for you rather than philosophical. So there's some examples, right? And I think we touched on this yesterday. I arrive late for a meeting. Somebody says somebody just deals with it and says it's okay, or gets angry and then starts shouting. So what would a rational response to me arriving late to a meeting, right? And I have upset you. Let's go, Shakir. What's a rational response to that? Jackie, I'll ask you for an irrational response.
Okay, so coming back to your thing of thinking,
Hmm.
I know that he arrived 2 minutes late.
Yes.
2 minutes is hardly anything.
Mhm.
So you don't think anything about it.
Okay, so you're a bit irritated,
Not
right?
irritated at all. I mean, irritated will mean that I actually feel something that he was 2 minutes late.
Hmm.
I'm talking of Tom now on the screen.
Yes, yes.
So being irrational, that'll be like irrational to see just 2 minutes. He was 2 minutes late. He could have been in the toilet. He could have been traffic or whatever the case is. But
Mhm.
constantly doing it 2 minutes late every day, then it can become questionable. And then it'll be irrational to be emotional about it.
Okay, perfect. Jackie, what would an irrational response to that situation be?
What would a rational response be?
Irrational.
Or an irrational response? Sorry.
Irrational. Yeah.
An irrational response.
Yes.
Irrational response would be that you're 2 minutes late and completely fly off the handle, and yell at you and tell you how you're always late, and it's unacceptable, and you show no respect for anybody, and it's my time you're wasting, and I'm unable to hear reason or to recognize that there might have been circumstances outside of your control.
Okay, perfect. So very often when we think of rational or irrational emotions, we think in terms of anger. Right? Anger is very often where we see the most irrational, and we relate it to irrational, and that's because we are terrified of somebody being angry with us in general. But that's a different discussion. Irrational emotions are any emotion that do not fit the situation by a common or average means. So if you look at the second example, right, the hospital calls Judy with some news. Her boyfriend has been assaulted by some hooligans. He's lying unconscious in the intensive care unit. She then says, oh dear, that's annoying. I was going to play tennis this afternoon, but I should come visit him, I suppose. Right? That would be an irrational emotion, right? Even though it's very calm and very together, it is an irrational emotion as it doesn't match the news that she has received, or the
Yes.
common person's news that she has received. Likewise, right? You are more likely to die in a car crash, right? On the way to the airport than you are in a plane, right? So then would fear of flying be irrational fear or rational fear? Let's see, Pedro.
I would say it's irrational.
Why?
Because your chances of dying, because you'll drive every day in a car, but you don't fly as frequently. So if you feel comfortable in driving a car that's more riskier than flying, that should be considered as irrational.
Okay, I like it. I like it very much.
I would say
Can I
I would say
disagree?
it's a rational fear.
Yes, of course.
I would say it's a rational fear because
Okay,
Sorry, Shakir, go,
What?
and then Jackie go.
Okay, so I would say it's a rational fear because firstly, if he is not the pilot, he is not in control of the airplane, aside from turbulence and things like that.
Mhm.
So his fear of, because he's not in control and it's not something that you do regularly, he's regularly in the car, all of those things.
Yeah.
He's right in being scared.
Okay. Okay. I like that. All right, Pedro, Jackie, you had something?
Yeah, I like what Shakir said. I think it's also um, there's a fear of the unknown, and flying is a lot more unknown than driving because we're used to driving. And I think also because if something goes wrong driving, you're statistically more likely to survive a car crash than you are to survive an airplane crash, even though you're more likely to have a car crash. I just think that because it's a unusual experience, it's not the norm. It's not what I do every day, and I like what Shakir was saying. You're less in control. You're simply trusting the plane and the pilot. You're not able to be in control as much, um, and if something goes wrong, there's nothing you can do about it, pretty much.
No room for error.
And yeah, and if something goes wrong, it's tickets. Whereas if something goes wrong in the car, there's generally a lot of things you can do. If the engine goes in a car, you can pull over to the side of the road. Engine goes in a plane, problems. So I think there is some rationality to it. It's not just the statistics. I think it's more.
Okay, what is that more?
I think other factors. Factors like
Such as the lack of control.
failure of pilot, or so lack of control. The fact that failure means more likely death, and failure in a car means less likely death. Lack of control and lack of experience. I think, the more you fly, if you're flying every day, you're less likely to be afraid of flying than if you fly once every 3 years or 4 years or 5 years.
Okay, I like that. All right, so we can have different opinions on that. Pedro, would you like to change your opinion, or are you happy with your opinion?
No, I mean, even if you're driving, you're not completely in control because there are other drivers on the road as well. And it's usually the other driver that can cause the accident as well. So no, I still think it's irrational.
That's the judge that we have grown to love and admire, sticking to your grounds. Okay, perfect. So, what is emotional intelligence? Let's go from Shakir, Jackie, Pedro.
The ability to control your emotions.
Okay. Jackie?
I think it's not just control. I think it has to do with, or self-regulation, I suppose, is control, but also an understanding. You have an understanding of your own emotions. You also have an understanding of other people's emotions and the factors behind them and things like that. And you are aware of how you and your emotions would affect someone else, I think, is emotional intelligence.
All right, and Pedro.
I think for lack of a better word, in layperson's terms, I would say emotional intelligence is being able to read the room. Just to have that maturity emotion and to have the appropriate emotions.
Okay, perfect. So, emotional intelligence is the ability, capacity, and skill to perceive, assess, and manage the emotions of oneself, others, and groups. Okay, there's just a nice friendly wording. There is a website that is on the page, right? If you screenshot it, it should take you to a very fun activity where you can measure your emotional intelligence. So, right? Would you like to take a moment to do that? Shakir, would you like to measure your emotional intelligence? Can I give you 5 minutes to do that?
I can't click on it.
Okay, so if you screenshot it and then click on the text, it should open up the website.
Screenshot it.
Yeah, then go to your gallery, open the text. It should open the website, unless it's an iPhone or anything.
How do you even
No, it's not
screenshot?
an iPhone.
No. Okay, wait. Can I put it on the group for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I
want
got
us to-
kicked out.
No problem. We're going to take a minute to quickly assess our emotional intelligence. I think that's a good thing. Let me just put it on the group. But really do not think too long. Oh, it's not showing. I'm going to put it on the group right now, and then you can do it. But please be fast in terms of don't think too much about your answers. Just do the questions. All right, and then let's come back and discuss your emotional intelligence. Oh my word, did it not copy the link? Okay, please hold. It should be on the group now. Let me just.
It's come as a picture that I can't
Yes,
use.
I'm sorry. I'm going to save this quickly and then send you the link right now. How difficult would it be to actually send this? So I'm looking at Okay, perfect. So I am going to stop the recording there for a minute. Please open the link, come back, and I want you to share with me what you have found.
Nikki,
Hello?
this is a 60-minute test that has 300 questions.
Oh shit, wait, I put the wrong one. Did I put the snapshot one?
No, I think you put the
Oh, wait,
full
wait, wait,
one.
wait. Wait, okay, wait. Okay, fine. I'll send it to you on the link.
Oh, wait, you can. Yeah, no, I can't open it.
Okay, no. Sorry, I put the wrong one. Let me just find my page again. Please hold.
Yes.
Please hold. Second. There we are. My laptop is just decided.
Yeah, also can't open it.
You can't open it, or it's the 300 question one. There should be 12 questions. 12, 15 questions. No? Okay. I'll put the summarized one in the group in a bit. And then we can discuss what our emotional intelligence is. All right. So how important is emotional intelligence for a social worker?
No, I can't open it.
No, don't worry, Shakir. I'll put a more summarized version on the group for you.
Are we doing the test?
No,
not?
no, we're not going to do the test now.
Okay.
Because it's an hour long. I'll put the wrong one there. Sure. I'm just looking to see where is my. Give me a second. I just want to see how did I get this wrong. Please hold.
Sorry, I just got kicked out.
No, it's fine. I just said I put the wrong link on there. It's supposed to be a Truity link. So please hold. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Okay, I'm going to print you the other one on the group. Jackie, to answer your question, yes, you guys are doing the one that's on the group, the Truity one, which is a snapshot one. I would encourage you to also do the long form one when you have time to do it. All right. So let's start with basic definitions again. All right. Jackie, what is intuition?
I would call it a gut sense. It's relying on a feeling or a sense rather than rational, logical thought.
Okay. Pedro, your definition of intuition?
Oh, my mind just went blank.
Shakir?
A feeling of a certain kind of process that moves you forward. Something like
I
that.
like it. That is a beautiful answer. Explain it now for the layperson.
Oh shucks. The sixth sense.
Okay. Okay. I like it. It's sixth sense. Right. So intuition is a matter of more feeling than thinking. So it's when your feeling takes over your brain, right? And when you respond to the feeling before the rational thought. It's a moment of insight where you suddenly see the solution to a problem without going through any conscious process of reasoning. It's your hunches, right? So we have different type of intuitions, and why it's important to know them is because you'll be relying a lot on intuition when you're engaging with people in different types of scenarios. For example, right? Core intuitions are our fundamental intuitions about life, the universe, and everything in between. All right. So it is at your core, if you don't think about it, if you don't apply any theory to it, what do you think is life and the universe and everything? Subject-specific intuition, right, is when you start applying knowledge to something and the gut feeling synthesizes that knowledge into an intuition about a subject, right? So for example, ethical questions, if you had to ask my brother a question on ethics or a sketchy law question, he would rely on his subject-specific intuition, right? Because he's got all the knowledge, but he's not necessarily processing each of the different cases and each of the different things. He's just giving a gut answer based on the feeling he gets because that processing is done behind the scenes. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay, then you get social intuition. And this is where our intuition is about other people, right? Whether you like them, whether you get along well with them, who they are, what they are like, and whether or not they can be trusted. So that's an evolutionary intuition, right? Then there's a school of thought which is called romanticism, which emphasizes the importance of emotions for making sense of the world, right? So they are the opposite of rationalism school. Right. A major objection to the claim that intuition is an important source of knowledge is that different people have conflicting intuitions. I think that's very important to note. Right. So here's an example of specific subject-specific intuitions. Linda's 31 years old. She's single, outspoken, bright, very much involved in social issues like disarmament and equal rights. Right. Which of the following is more likely? Is she a bank teller? Is she a bank teller? And is she active in the feminist movement? Pedro, option 1 or 2.
That she is a bank teller and an activist in feminist movement.
Okay, all right. And you suss that out because of what you know about her, right? Another way to do it is imagine that you're standing on a large flat plane, you're holding a bullet in your left hand and a loaded gun in your right hand. All right. If you fire the gun horizontally and at the same instant drop the bullet, which of the two bullets will hit the ground first? Shakir.
If you fire the bullet first and drop the one
And at the
that's in
same
your
instant you drop it.
yeah, the one that's not in the gun.
Okay. Do you see what's happened there? Shakir has gone through the stuff he knows, and his brain has tried to apply some stuff, even the knowledge it has, to this to give an intuitive answer. right? This is
Because
just for
the bullet-
demonstration. There's no right or wrong
bullet
answer.
in the gun shoots up first.
But you're shooting it horizontally.
Upwards. Oh no. Yes.
No
It
horizon.
pops out of the gun. I'm
Yes.
thinking of a pistol. It pops
Yes.
out of the gun.
Mhm.
And the one in your hand, it just falls.
Okay. Right. This is just to demonstrate the thought process that goes behind intuition, right? And how you know there's an emotionally right answer. You don't exactly know how you get there, but you feel that that would be the way, right? Jackie, there's a soccer match with 11 players on each side and a referee. What are the odds of two people in the field sharing the same birthday?
Sure.
There's a soccer match, 11 players on each side. What are the
Mhm.
chances of two of them sharing a birthday?
Yes.
22 players.
And unlikely.
Okay. There's an intuitive answer also, right? So your brain hasn't done all the math, but your brain has a feeling of what the answer could be, right? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up emotion. Emotions provide the energy that fuels intellectual endeavor, right? Emotions are influenced by our beliefs. Strong emotions do cloud our judgments, right? But intuitions do not have magical authority. They do have value, but they do not have magical authority. Right? We're not going to do ways of knowing. So I'm going to put this presentation on the group, and it's quite important to visit it back and forth a little bit because it will, this page specifically, maybe let me screenshot it now and put it on the group, right? Because later on, when we're doing counseling specific skills, right, this page is going to become very important. Also, when you're doing your final research and stuff, this page is going to become pretty important. Okay, perfect. So next week
Nick,
we are,
when are
yes.
we writing?
Hopefully by the end of the year or in February next year, depending on the department decide. Wait, let me just
Okay.
myself record.
Not in October, ne?
No.